The crowd erupted in laughter as the spotlight fell on Charles Whitmore, one of America's most powerful CEOs. The open-air lawn of the Whitmore estate shimmered under rows of golden string lights. Everyone wanted a photo, a handshake, a moment near the man who built an empire from nothing. But behind his charming smile, Charles's hand trembled. He had been feeling the strange pressure in his chest all week. But tonight, he ignored it. Power didn't show weakness. Then it happened. In the middle of his speech, his words broke off. His eyes rolled back, and before the crowd could react, the billionaire collapsed face first on the grass. Gasps, panic. No one moved. Guests froze, stunned by the sight of a man too rich to ever seem human. His wife Evelyn cried out, "Charles!" But security just stood there, awaiting orders that never came. And then, through the chaos, someone stepped forward. A man in tattered clothes, barefoot, with dirt-streaked skin and weary eyes. A homeless man. He pushed through the guests as they recoiled from him in disgust. "Let me through," he shouted, kneeling beside Charles. "He's not breathing." The guards tried to pull him back, but his voice cut through their hesitation. "If you touch him, he dies." Everyone froze. His hands moved fast, steady, like someone who'd done this before. He tilted Charles's head, feeling the faint pulse. From his old backpack, he pulled something unexpected, a small, dull razor. Evelyn gasped, horrified. "What are you doing?" The man didn't answer. He turned on the razor, whispering, "Trust me." The sound buzzed through the silent lawn. Within seconds, Charles's body jolted, his chest rising in a desperate breath of air. The crowd stared in shock. Who was this stranger? And how did a man from the streets just save a billionaire's life? If this moment touched your heart, don't forget to like and subscribe to stay with us. The ambulance lights painted the night red and blue. Charles Whitmore lay inside, breathing but unconscious, while Evelyn clutched his hand in disbelief. The paramedics kept murmuring about rapid response and timing, but her eyes kept darting back to the man who had saved her husband's life. He stood alone near the gate, the homeless man. His clothes were soaked with sweat, his face hollow yet strangely calm. A police officer approached him. "Name?" "Daniel," he said softly. "Daniel Harris. Relation to Mr. Whitmore?" Daniel looked down. "None." Before the officer could question more, Evelyn stepped out of the ambulance, her voice trembling. You saved him?" Daniel nodded. He would have choked on his own tongue. "I cleared the airway." Her expression wavered between gratitude and disbelief. "How did you even know what to do?" Daniel hesitated. Used to be a paramedic, before everything fell apart. Those words hung heavy in the night. Evelyn's eyes softened, just for a second. "Come to the hospital tomorrow. My husband will want to thank you." Daniel looked startled. "No, ma'am. I'm fine here." But she pressed a card into his hand anyway. "Please." The next morning, Daniel stood at the hospital gates, watching the luxury cars glide past. He almost turned away, until he saw a nurse rush out, calling his name. "Mr. Whitmore's awake. He's asking for you." Inside the private ward, Charles's face was pale but alive. When he saw Daniel, he managed a weak smile. "You're the man from last night, the one who pulled me back." Daniel nodded quietly. "Just did what I could." Charles's eyes softened. "Then let me do what I can. Come with me." Daniel didn't know this invitation would drag him back into the world that once destroyed him. The Whitmore mansion was vast, echoing with polished silence and money. Daniel felt small as he stepped inside, his worn boots sinking into carpets worth more than his old apartment. Charles, still recovering, leaned on a cane but smiled warmly. "I want to offer you a job," he said. "You saved my life." "Let me help you rebuild yours." Daniel hesitated. "You don't owe me anything." Charles chuckled softly. "Maybe not, but I owe the world better men like you." Within a week, Daniel was living in the guest quarters, working as a driver and helper. The mansion lights that once blinded him now felt hauntingly familiar. But not everyone welcomed him. Evelyn Whitmore, the billionaire's elegant wife, watched Daniel with cool suspicion. Her words dripped with politeness, yet carried poison beneath. "My husband trusts too easily," she said one evening, her eyes sharp. "Don't give him a reason to regret it." And then there was Liam, Charles's personal assistant. Young, ambitious, with a smile that never reached his eyes. He smirked as Daniel passed. From sleeping on sidewalks to driving Bentleys. Quite a promotion, huh? Daniel said nothing, but something about Liam's gaze made his stomach twist. Days passed. Charles grew stronger, often talking to Daniel about life, mistakes, and second chances. "You remind me of someone I used to be," he said once, staring out the window, before success became survival. But one night, as Daniel returned from the garage, he overheard whispers near the study door, Evelyn's voice trembling. "If he finds out what we did, we're finished." Daniel froze, every nerve on edge. Inside the study, a drawer slammed shut, and footsteps approached. He barely had time to hide before the door swung open. What secret were they hiding? And how was Daniel already tangled in it? Morning came with shouts. The mansion guards stormed into Daniel's quarters, pulling him from his bed. "You think you can rob a billionaire?" One spat, throwing a velvet box onto the floor. Inside glittered a priceless diamond necklace. Evelyn's. Daniel's heart stopped. "That's not mine." But no one listened. Evelyn appeared at the doorway, her voice cold and trembling. "It was found in your drawer. Charles trusted you, and this is how you repay him?" Daniel shook his head, desperate. "I didn't steal anything. Someone's setting me up." Charles entered behind her, pale and weak, confusion clouding his face. "Daniel, tell me this isn't true." "It's not," Daniel said, his voice breaking. "You know me better than that." But Evelyn's tears fell like a weapon. "You don't know what he's capable of, Charles. He was a paramedic who lost his license for theft and negligence." The words cut like knives. The guards dragged Daniel away as he shouted, "That's a lie! Please, check the security footage." But Evelyn turned away, whispering to her husband, "Don't humiliate yourself with false hope." That night, Daniel sat in the police cell, his mind racing. He knew who framed him. Liam, the same smirk, the same eyes, but why? Hours later, an officer came to his cell. "You've got a visitor." It was Evelyn. Her perfume filled the air, her face unreadable. "You were never supposed to get this close," she said softly. "You were just a story Charles wanted to fix." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "You're hiding something. What did you do to him?" She smiled faintly. "Careful what you ask, Daniel. The truth can ruin you." And as she left, he noticed something on her wrist, a faint red mark, almost like a burn. What secret burned beneath Evelyn's perfect smile? And how far would she go to keep it buried? The night Daniel was released, the rain was relentless. He didn't go home. He went straight back to the Whitmore mansion. Something inside him refused to die. A voice that whispered, "Charles is in danger." He crept through the back entrance, moving like a shadow. Inside, the house was quiet, too quiet. Then he heard voices in the study. Evelyn's and Liam's. "He'll drink it, and by morning, everything is ours," Liam murmured. "You'll inherit everything, and I'll get what you promised." Evelyn's voice trembled. "I didn't want it to come to this, but he won't let me go." Daniel pushed the door open. "Then don't do it." Both turned, stunned. Evelyn's face drained of color. How did you?" "I know everything," Daniel said, stepping closer. "The affair, the fake theft, the poison in that cup." Liam lunged, but Daniel dodged, sending the teacup crashing to the floor. The liquid hissed as it ate through the carpet fibers. Proof enough. Charles appeared behind them, weak but awake. "Evelyn?" His voice shook. "What have you done?" Tears spilled down her face. "I was never enough for you, Charles. You loved your empire, not me." Liam tried to run, but Daniel tackled him, holding him down until the guards arrived. Sirens wailed outside moments later. Evelyn was led away, sobbing. Charles stood in silence, staring at Daniel. "I didn't believe you," he whispered. "And you still came back." Daniel looked away. "Because you once believed I was more than my past." Weeks later, Charles met Daniel at the edge of the city, offering him a key. "A clinic," he said. "In your name, for those no one sees." Daniel smiled faintly, the first genuine smile in years. "Maybe we both get to start over." If this story inspired you, show some love with a like, and subscribe to be part of the next story. And, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments.